From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
American Door Company has been family-owned and operated for over 29 years, supplying Northern California with quality garage doors, garage door openers, and installed with the best service you'd expect from a locally owned company. We serve all of Northern California from Willows all the way up to the Oregon state line. Give us a call today.
Hello everyone, I'm Meteorologist Mike Krueger, and boy, what an active day it was out there yesterday as expected. You know what? Pretty much right on target. We did see most of the thunderstorms as expected in the eastern mountains, Modoc County, Siskiyou County, even parts of Trinity County got into some of the action, and even west of the Redding area, in particular around, say, the old Shasta area, really seeing some heavy rainfall, a lot of lightning strikes as well. And speaking of lightning strikes, there were a ton of them throughout the day yesterday, and unfortunately, there were several dry lightning strikes associated with that as well. Now, of course, things have quieted down overnight and into the morning hours, and I do expect to see round 2 here for today. Hey, check out this photo. I want to thank Chris Robertson for sending in this photo. There were some beautiful sunsets out there around the Redding area, thanks to all of the cloud cover that we did see, making for some beautiful photos. And by the way, if you want to share your photos, you can do that very easily from the free Weather NorCal app. Just scroll to the very bottom of the app and you can share your photos right there from the app. And it's very easy for me to share those photos with everyone else. All right, let's take a look at our weather headlines. It's going to be another round of thunderstorms today with the elevated fire risk due to dry lightning. Highs will still be below normal through the weekend, but it will be warmer, but still below 100 degrees as we take you through next week. So still a lot to talk about. We'll get into all of that in the deeper dive forecast, but here's a look at your Krueger's Quickcast for your Friday, July 25th. All right, you're heading out the door this morning. Should be another mild start. You know, there may be a stray sprinkle or even a light shower for parts of the valley this morning, but I do expect most of the activity of the thunderstorms that we see to develop around midday through the afternoon. And as I mentioned, even the valley could get caught up in some of that action. Looking at the satellite image over the last 12 hours, you can see that thunderstorm activity that we did see over Northern California with all of the clouds. Now, those clouds are dissipating, but we'll probably see another round of those convective clouds developing in the afternoon. Here's a look at our HRRR forecast model, looking at the latest data coming in here for this morning. And there it is. By midday, around early afternoon, we're seeing the thunderstorms popping up. Now, I do expect to see a better chance for thunderstorms in places like Trinity County, much like what we didn't see, not much like, but we didn't really see as much activity for Trinity County. I do think we're going to see more here for today. Now, it's getting uncomfortably close to the valley again, so we could see a stray shower or even a thunderstorm for parts of the valley late this afternoon and evening before it wraps itself up here overnight tonight. So what we've got here, looking at the forecast, most of the lightning strikes, most of the thunderstorms will be in the mountains, but again, we can't rule out some of that activity even for parts of the valley. Still, high temperatures well below normal for this time of the year. So your 7-day outlook, have that chance in the valley. Most of it will be in the mountains though, and then it stays dry through the weekend. You'll also notice it's getting warmer for next week, but still below normal for this time of the year. Let's take a look at the coast, low 60s, partly to mostly cloudy skies. No big changes there. Inland, you know, I think you're mainly dry, but some of these showers and thunderstorms could creep their way into extreme eastern Del Norte and Humboldt counties. I think Trinity County seeing the thunderstorms, slimmer chances for Saturday. And really, overall, looking at the mountains, there will be off and on chances for showers and thunderstorms through the weekend and even through next week. But one thing that needs to be said is that the main event with these thunderstorms is yesterday and today. After today, anything we do see will be scattered in nature, won't be nearly as widespread, and won't be as active. Although there still could be that potential for a severe thunderstorm here or there over the next 7 days. But again, the main event was yesterday and will be today as well. That's a look at your Krueger's Quickcast. You know, before we go into their deeper dive forecast and start looking at the fires too, I do want to show you that there is a great way that you can track the storms. I was doing it yesterday on my phone. You can very easily track the storms in the area, see where the lightning strikes are, where those storms are, and it takes you an hour in advance so you can really kind of take a look at where those storms are expected to go over the next hour as well. Search for Weather NorCal space between Weather and NorCal. Download the app for free today. And by the way, any watches or warnings that are issued by the National Weather Service actually go to the app. You will get the notification before the National Weather Service actually issues those watches and warnings. So do note that you will be the first to get that information should you have the Weather NorCal app. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the fire conditions out there. And there's a look at that fire tracker. Let me hold on one second here. We got to, of course, include our sponsor in there. Let's see here. For some reason, that was taken out, but I'm going to go ahead and put it back in. And I'm not going to start the recording again for that. We can still do that. There's a look at that, sponsored by Garmin's Tractor Service. All right, so we take a look at the fire tracker, and these are the latest conditions here, as you can see here. And it's kind of hard to see here. So we're going to zoom it in here a bit tighter. We're going to start off with the green fire. Now, there hasn't been any recent activity. The latest information coming in from yesterday afternoon, around 5 p.m., still at 19,022 acres and 68% containment. So really no big news there. And the good news is there really hasn't been a lot of activity coming in from the Butler fire either. In fact, the latest report coming in from there is that even though there's no containment line on the west side of the fire here, there are no concerns for, say, Orleans, for example. But you can see a lot of yellow dots on there in squares. That's indicating that most recent activity is about 2 to even 3 days old. But still, it has grown a little bit over the last 24 hours. As of last night, 18,855 acres and 10% containment. Just a little bit closer view of forks of salmon, and looking at the most recent and data coming in from the satellite heat signatures. One little orange dot there, that is from 24 hours ago. Otherwise, the yellow squares are indicating over 24 hours old. So we take a look at just the vicinity of where it is from Orleans. And as mentioned, the firefighters are not necessarily concerned about growth of that fire closer to Orleans, about 4.8 miles there. And there is a containment line on the north end of the fire. So Soames Bar looks to be pretty good right now, and you probably won't get any closer than 4.4 miles there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the red fire real quickly because it hasn't changed over the last few days. 116 acres as of July 22nd, 10:13 in the morning. Still, latest report, 80% containment. And looking at the summit fire as of July 21st, 6:32 p.m., still at 701 acres, last reported at 90% containment. All right, there's a look at that forecast smoke. And once again, it's the Butler fire that we're watching most of the smoke coming from. Now, some of that is working its way into northern Trinity County, but mainly most of that smoke is going to be in southwestern Siskiyou County. A little bit of haze to the east of it as well in Siskiyou and even parts of Modoc County. Now, as you know, conditions can change very rapidly as far as the information coming in from the fires. I do a detailed look at the fires during my morning update that you're watching right now and during Coffee with Krueger at 6:30 in the morning. Otherwise, I don't do as much detailed looks at those fires during the afternoon or evening update. So throughout the day, you can very easily check on the status of those fires. Go to weathernorcal.com and click on the fire danger section. All right, the winds are going to be picking up again in the afternoon for the valley. No big surprises. And most of the winds that you see in the mountains are generated by those thunderstorms. As you know, these thunderstorms are producing some very gusty winds, and not to mention heavy rainfall, hail, the works, right? So there still is a red flag warning for today. Now, it does not include the eastern mountains, but there will be showers, there will be thunderstorms there as well. So once again, looking at the satellite image, you can see the thunderstorms popping up on that satellite image here. You can see the plentiful moisture that it was able to tap into, giving us those thunderstorms. And if you look closely, you'll see a bit of a spin in the atmosphere, a counterclockwise spin. That's the area of low pressure just to our south, helping to really generate some of these thunderstorms, along with the afternoon convection too. So looking at your severe outlook, most of Northern California, including the valley, has that chance for thunderstorms, but it does not include the North Coast. However, extreme eastern Humboldt and extreme eastern Del Norte counties could maybe see a stray shower or thunderstorm, but I think most of the activity will be east of the North Coast. Now, where the Storm Prediction Center is putting in that fire outlook for dry lightning strikes, well, it's only showing extreme eastern Northern California, but I do think there can be dry lightning strikes pretty much anywhere those thunderstorms will be. Not only today, but even for tomorrow. It might be overdoing it for how far west it is for tomorrow, which we'll take a look here on Futurecast. So let's walk you through the timing of it all. By midday, much like yesterday, we start to see those thunderstorms begin to pop up. Nothing widespread, just a few scattered thunderstorms here and there. As we go through the afternoon hours, by mid-afternoon, it's beginning to get a lot more active. Now we're seeing a lot of the activity for the most part in Trinity, Siskiyou, Modoc, and Lassen and Plumas counties. That will, of course, become a little bit more intense, especially east of the valley. You see it starts to kind of break apart and die down a bit for the getting closer to the evening hours for Trinity County, but still, especially central and eastern Siskiyou County, Modoc, Lassen, Plumas, and the mountains of just east and foothills east of the valley could see some of those thunderstorms, so places like Bernie, for example. Then you can see by tonight, we are seeing most of the activity still to the east. Now, as we go into the evening hours, we could see a stray shower or thunderstorm work its way into parts of the valley, but most of the activity today will be in the mountains. Then you can see by 8 a.m. on Saturday, it is completely dry. Now, it looks like, based on this particular forecast model, that most of the thunderstorms on Saturday will be east of the valley, not so much for Trinity County or even Siskiyou County. And it's been fairly consistent with that solution over the last few days, so I'm going to keep that in the forecast for now. Then as we take you into your Saturday night, it dries out. By Sunday morning, it's dry. Sunday only gets up to about noon, but we will maybe see another round of just a few scattered showers and thunderstorms on Sunday for the mountains, but dry in the valley. All right, long range, this particular forecast model, not very aggressive with the potential for thunderstorms pretty much through next week. But I will say this, the European forecast model, fairly consistent and more aggressive with the potential for afternoon thunderstorms here for many of the higher elevations, in particular for Siskiyou and Modoc counties and even parts of the eastern mountains. You can see that this model, the GFS, picking up on some activity by next Wednesday. But you'll see that in the 7-day forecast that I've just at least included that chance for afternoon thunderstorms in the mountains. But overall, the main event with the thunderstorms is yesterday and today. After that, just those scattered showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon hours for the mountains, not the valley. All right, that mild air is what's keeping our temperatures below normal all week long. But as we go into the second half of the weekend and early next week, that mild air actually starts to kick on out of here. Now, we have an area of low pressure over the Gulf of Alaska. That's important because with that there, that's preventing the heat over the desert Southwest from building really over us. Now, it's mainly over the desert Southwest and north of that, but that heat is extending into Northern California. More heat than we've seen so far. So we are going to be looking at warmer temperatures next week, but it will still be below normal and it will still be below 100 degrees for the valley. So instead of the upper 80s and low 90s that we've been experiencing in the valley, it'll be more like the mid to upper 90s, which is near normal for this time of the year. And that's what it's looking like here, looking at the Climate Prediction Center. So still around 90 for Redding, probably mid to upper 80s for Chico. See how they go increase, but the normal high in Redding is still about 100 to 101. And if you notice, as we go through this next week, we're talking about temperatures mainly in the upper 90s, but some mid to upper 90s for those daytime highs. So we're going to continue to see below normal temperatures for the rest of this week, through the weekend, and really even quite honestly through next week as well. So far, can't complain about these temperatures, but it will definitely be warmer and noticeably warmer as we do go through next week. There's a look at the wave heights. You have to look closely, mainly the clock, to see that we are actually advancing it in time, so there's really no big changes there. The marine forecast is still calling for some patchy, dense fog over the next few mornings, so just be aware of that if you do need to be on a fishing boat. But overall, the winds from the northwest at 5 to 10 knots and your waves from the northwest at 3 feet. There's a look at your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. So the thunderstorms today, I've taken the chance out on Saturday, but really for all intents and purposes, a chance through the weekend, even into Monday, and then maybe another chance coming into Wednesday, Thursday. For the coast, you're dry, minus some morning drizzle, mostly cloudy skies, temperatures in the low 60s for your highs. Maybe a chance for a stray shower or thunderstorm in extreme eastern Del Norte and Humboldt counties. But overall, I don't expect much activity for the inland areas today, through the weekend, or next week. But you will notice slightly warmer through next week. 88 degrees for Gazelle, 85 out in Weed, 86 for Etna. Thunderstorms today, a chance over the weekend, maybe a break on Monday, Tuesday, with another chance for Wednesday and Thursday. For Modoc County, essentially just a chance for thunderstorms each and every single day for the next 7 days. The best chances were yesterday, today, and then just some scattered showers and thunderstorms for Saturday and Sunday. For the eastern mountains, also the thunderstorms most likely through the weekend, and continue that off and on chance for just just some scattered showers really through the weekend and through next week. Temperatures today mainly in the 70s and 80s for your highs. For the valley, I've got that chance in there, especially this afternoon and evening. There may be a stray sprinkler light shower this morning, but otherwise it's mainly in the mountains where we're seeing the bulk of the activity. But again, much like yesterday, we saw some pretty active weather, especially west of Redding, and we also saw some activity move through Red Bluff. So we still can't rule that out here for all of the valley this afternoon and evening. Otherwise dry and warmer, especially as we go into next week. Up to the north, about 91 degrees for Redding, 89 for Lakehead and Whiskeytown, and 89 for Red Bluff. And here's your 7-day forecast for Redding. Those temperatures are going to increase a bit here as we do take you into next week. Should be in the mid to upper 90s for next week. But again, keep in mind the normal high for Redding is about 100 to 101. We'll still be below that, and we'll still be below 100 degrees here as we take it through next week. So all in all, temperature-wise, still not that bad, just a tad warmer than it has been this week. That's your morning update. I'll be back again this afternoon for your latest forecast. Have a great morning.